see, because what will happen now is that the drivers will feel there's way more grip than earlier on in the day, but do they start to feel more confident, therefore, to push? And if they do they feel a bit of overconfidence? In fact, I wonder if we're slightly breaking with convention here and the drivers are going to be given maybe just a couple of laps to get up to speed with the circuit here, because I'm being told they're being given 3 laps. As I say, that's not the convention for the B final. Usually the B final doesn't get the warm up, but they are getting a warm up here, and they need to make good use of that in order to get their eye in on these renewed conditions here. And I think we're immediately going to be seeing lap times sub 60 seconds here once things have got underway.
Welcome back, everybody, on the comms box stream. Apologies for some of the issues. Streamlabs went on strike during the lunch break, so it's back now. It's had a telling off, and we're back on the DDMM YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. This B final has no championship permutations. There's not really any math to do at this moment, so we can just enjoy a good old race to see which 2 drivers are going to move forward into the A.
Yeah, drivers catching eye here. Paul Williams has had a difficult day, hasn't he? Starting this one from 9th on the grid, he might be looking to make his way up and maybe knock on the door of the top 2. You got to say, Kevin Coombs is a pole sitter. In some ways, the worst place to be in a way. I mean, you're in the pound seat to get a race win.
Yep.
But what it means is, in fact, I'm just going to see how many points got you onto the back of the A final grid. Right, 70 points got you onto the back of the A final grid. Kevin Coombs got 69 points.
Yeah.
So it's properly close as to whether or not you got onto that grid. We've got several tie breaks in terms of the heat points that got you into this B final, where it positions you on the grid. So it's really close out there for the positions. It's going to be a close run thing. That's the thing you always get with these finals, is you are in the order roughly that form should suggest you should be in.
Thank you very much, David Whitehouse, because he's working his fingers off.
Yes.
Remotely to help us with all the maths. Super heavyweight, according to the spreadsheet of doom, is down to 4 drivers, 3 of them present here today. Taylor, Henderson, Chigsey, Newton. Can't be won today.
Yeah.
But in terms of this race coming up, the A final, and then when we're at Bayford in a few weeks' time, super heavyweights, the ones with the green number plates, is down to 4 drivers who can win the title.
The thing that stands out to me there, not to rain on your parade of there's not a lot of championship ramifications of this, but the thing that stands out to me in that, Andrew, Newton is the only one of those who are here today not yet on that A final grid. Yeah. Chidsey and Henderson already both on the A final grid, so that's something for Newton to bear in mind. David Jarvis is also in there as a disruptor, effectively. He's a super heavyweight ahead of Newton on this grid. So that's what stands out to me off the back of that news. Don't forget, before we get into the finals here, live.alphatiming.co.uk, click on Club 100 and you can follow all of the live timing. If you're also looking for any confirmed results from earlier on today, earlier on in the season, earlier on in the decade, quite frankly, and the previous decade from Club 100, results.alphatiming.co.uk is where you want to go. Click on Club 100. That's where you can go for all the confirmed results after today as well. We look good for the start here. Kevin Coombs is going to lead them away from this longer race now. We're putting 12 minutes on the clock, and away we go. The 28 karts or so, and there's already a spinner, I think, round there, and it's the 32. And that is Richard Newton. Richard Newton's round, so he will not be getting up into that A final, and that could be a costly moment for him in his bid for the super heavyweight title there. But it is Kevin Coombs who leads them down in the brightest skies, the best conditions we have seen all day here at Lydd Circuit. Round the Parabolica, where is the grip now? As there's a spinner in the background I could see there as well. So we've got a few drivers who, as I say, you know, you can feel more confident in these conditions, but you can't be overconfident, and it's still the case that the lightest bit of contact with a fellow competitor might send you around, as there's a penalty early doors for the one, as far as I can see on the penalty board. We'll see that one come up on timing in just a second, but I just saw that on the digiflag. At the end of lap 1, though, it is Kevin Coombs who leads ahead of David Jarvis, albeit timing is just taking a little while just to catch up here, as they all work their way through down towards the Parabolica once again. Already can see drivers taking a tighter line through that Parabolica corner, clearly feeling there's a bit more grip there. There's David Jarvis still running in second place.
So down the back straight, here come our leaders around the final corner. You can see already the top two breaking away, and this is what you want to do when you're a top two. It is David Jarvis and Simon Kavanagh leading at the moment.
That means they've got by on Kevin Coombs as well. Paul Williams is running well here. I think he's up to third place, so that's one of the drivers that we picked out who maybe feels a little bit out of position on merit.
So, let's say the top two move through from this B final, and Paul Williams is there in third place.
Yeah.
Apologies, we've got some technical issues here, though, so I think the mainstream at the moment isn't quite working, but we've got us here on DDMM. So we are now the official coverage of Club 100. We'll take that one. But yeah, it's a good run so far. David Jarvis has definitely had the pace today. He had one race where he
to get this promotion. Yeah. He has had a real day of it. Is the best way I can say.
It's a big opportunity day for points. You know, some drivers not here today for various reasons. But, you know, the A final is still going to be a tricky race in terms of track conditions. And there are going to be opportunities where people make mistakes. Someone towards the back can move through the field. But David Jarvis in this one. Simon Kavanagh, Paul Williams. Half a second was the gap last time around. And Paul Williams, another driver with a lot of experience, is getting on top of these conditions.
Interesting to note for me, mate, is that we haven't yet dipped below the 60-second mark in this, albeit I appreciate this is the B final. This is not the fastest drivers that we've seen here today.
Andrew Cherry's doing all right. He's in 9th place. And I think he's the fastest driver out there at the moment on a 102.4147, so still plenty of this time to go.
Yeah, Andrew Cherry, another driver who maybe his position on the grid belies his pace. We've got a stricken driver recovering on the back straight. New fastest lap of the race from David Jarvis, a 61.217.
And that's a good time to put that in as the race leader. You know, you're stretching away from the rest of the field, pulling him in. Hello to Ryan Sandel, who's joined us over here on the DDMM stream. We're on a separate network to the Alpha Live guys, so that's why they're furiously trying to fix that.
They can't blame us.
They can't blame us.
For
we
once.
Didn't knock it off. Wooten up to 6th place, if you say, past Chair. And it's really up to Paul Williams now in kart number 65 to put Simon Kavanagh under pressure. The good thing for Paul as well, he's got a gap behind. It's not one of those situations where, you know, he needs to work with Simon Kavanagh. It's quite rare in Club 100 for that to happen. You know, if Paul Williams can get by here, really take advantage of the situation, put that pressure on Simon Kavanagh. David Jarvis continuing to lead this race in the 116. You can see Andrew Cherry in the 23. He's starting to, well, he's continuing his run through the field. You just question whether he's got enough time to get up to 2nd place. He's got the 172 of Benjamin Wooten ahead of him. Coming into the horseshoe now. And beautifully down the inside there of Benjamin Wooten. Can he get the speed off of the horseshoe? I think they're going to be side by side coming out of it and onto the back straight. Yeah, Wooten just able to get back ahead. Cherry having a lot of fun out there. It's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, a driver who's had a few dramas. I think it was on the very first corner of his very first heat, wasn't it? That he had an incident, a spin on the very first chicane of the very first heat today, and that's what's put him out of position. I've only just realised why you just did what you just did. But yeah, Kevin Coombs passed Lawrence Cheer as well. That's a change there for 9th place. And Simon Kavanagh, a 60.8, has put it in. We are heading towards that point now, and that's exactly what he needed to do to deter Paul Williams. In fact, he opened at 1.2 seconds over Paul. In fact, has there been a change? Has Wootton got ahead of Bensley? I'm trying to work. Something's changed about this situation. Cherry, though, looking down the inside of the final corner as they come through now. And yeah, it's not past Wootton he's gone. He's gone past Sam Bensley.
Yeah.
So Wootton now moves to being the highest placed Class 3 runner in this race.
Simon Kavanagh, got to say, it's dug really deep. We were talking earlier about Paul Williams putting him under pressure, getting a move done, taking the control of that second place. And I don't know whether Simon Kavanagh can hear us, but he's pulled away and he's there now 2.1 seconds clear of Paul Williams. 8 holds that lead at 0.9 of a second. Andrew Cherry now trying to go down the inside. Oh, as the 172 goes around. I don't think there was any contact there. I think that was just Benjamin Wootton snatching a break. But Andrew Cherry up to 5th place is the result of that little bit of action there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those watching on the DDMM stream, do let the folks know. We're a little bit restricted on bandwidth, but that's because of my lack of technology. Do let folks on the Club 100 social media know that we are still live.
Driver off into the wood chips on the final corner, Andrew. Having to recover his car very early on, actually. The earliest I've ever seen anyone beat there. New fastest lap of the race, a 60.359 from David Jarvis. We're getting there. We're going to hit those 59 soon enough, folks. But so far, himself and Kavanagh are the only drivers to go sub 61 seconds at the moment. I'm sorry to say, I don't think Paul Williams is finding the pace at the moment to start challenging this.
This would be Simon Kavanagh's second appearance in an A final this year if he can get home. It was a 17th place finish for him when he's made it before. With just under 3 minutes to go. Jarvis and Kavanagh currently going through, and it's extending that gap to Paul Williams behind. 3.5 seconds now. The gap between second and third places down the back straight there. There's Bensley and Coombs. Kevin Coombs has had a decent run here.
He has.
Positions up.
Significantly, he might be feeling, he was on pole for this, so he might be feeling a little bit worse for wear. But yeah, he's showing well here today. Sudden increase in the pace, or increase in the lap.
In these scenarios. But once again, I think the driving on the whole has been exemplary today. There's very little.
Massively.
We've had some spins, we've had some drivers going off, but generally, everyone's been keeping it on the road.
Yep, agreed. Been very, very impressive so far. 2 minutes left on the clock for your reference. live.alphatime.co.uk. Click on Club 100 for the live timing.
New fastest lap again from Jarvis, 60.128. There will be 2 more laps for David Jarvis to close out this victory in the B final. There was a half moment there for the 178. Just going around the final corner there. Kevin Coombs has got past Samuel Bensley for 6th place. It's in this scenario, in a B final, when you're clear of the competition behind, you can really enjoy this circuit. It is a driver's favourite, as we've mentioned. David Jarvis will be very pleased to pick his way through, take this victory. There's the number 63. Can we track who the 17 is?
I think that's a lap down.
Yeah, that's
it's
Mandapira, isn't it? Yeah, it's Matthew Mandapira, who is a lap off the overall lead at the moment.
Last lap, as that is a moment there. Was that the 76? 78.
78 that's gone round.
Means it's Martin Robinson.
Yeah, so Martin Robinson, one of our drivers in the Club 100 Gran Turismo Sports Esports League. Last round of their 5th season, Tuesday night, 9 PM here on the DDMA. But a straightforward run here. Although saying that, oh no, the gap is still 4.4 seconds between Kavanagh and Williams.
Jason Bear and Andrew Cherry doing battle on this final tour of the circuit, Andrew.
Indeed.
As they go through the Parabolica. Cherry takes a wider line.
It's a shame for Cherry. I think this place in the B final, a good B final, but he deserved more today. And it's sometimes the way things break down in inclement conditions. And David Jarvis is going to come around the final corner to take victory in the B final. A very good win. The driver in the 116. Simon Kavanagh makes the A final for the 2nd time this season. Comfortably in the end, ahead of Paul Williams there in 3rd. Good points for Paul. Nonetheless, in the championship, 4th for Andrew Cherry. Gets it on the line ahead of Jason Bear. Kevin Coombs in 6th. Samuel Bensley will come home in 7th place. Andrew Hicks in 8th. Bensley was the top of the C3s in that B final. We have got C3s in the A final. Hicks, Lawrence Chair, Joel Arguelles, fastest lap, personal best on the last lap there for the BIKC Super Heavyweight Champion, 61.645. Bradley Porter was there in 11th, Benjamin Wooten 12th, Luke Elliott 13th, Richard Masterson 14th, Richard Newton 15th. That might be a bit of a blow to his title aspirations in Super Heavyweight. We'll have it confirmed as to whether he is still in the mix or not in a few moments, I'm sure. Tom Stalker in 16th place, Jaden Cadigan 17th, Christian Hoos 18th, Stephen Hullock 19th, Matthew Batter in 20th, Paul Jameson, Olin Wilson, Martin Robinson, Matthew Mandapira and Matt Griffiths. Those will be 26 runners there in the B final.
There we go then. David Jarvis and Simon Kavanagh will join the rest of the A final grid in the heavyweights. Next up here at Lydd, we will be back with you for the B final in lightweights.
Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the 2021 Club 100 Sprint Championship, round number 10 here at Lydd Kart Circuit in Kent. And a damp Lydd Kart Circuit, I'd say, out there now. The rain has stopped. Still a very brisk wind blowing across the circuit. And hopefully you're back with us on the main stream as well. We have got a grid for our lightweight B final. Top 2 in this race go through to the A. Let's read it through for you. Samuel Essery, we could be calling him. He's 1 point short, according to the spreadsheet of doom. 1 point improvement short of becoming C3 champion for 2021. He starts this B final on the front row of the grid alongside one of our strongest C3s from last season, Greg Smith, there in kart number 98. Row 2 will have Callum Brule and James Wattis on it. Angus Waddle and Thomas Barrett on row 3. Matthew Cockerham and Andrew Rabbage are on the 4th row of the grid. Jed Toole and Rogerio Mendes are on row 5. Tony Philbin and Russell Cooper are on row 6. We're getting into some of our big pack of novices now. Justin Draper and James Dunnett are on row 7. Luke Dunnett and Atharva Desai are on row 8. Rizwan Mangat and Andy Berry on row 9. Jason Bradbury has a lot of work to do in this B final alongside Jagjit Singh on the 10th row of the grid. James Browning and Aaron Stillwell row 11. Amy Breacher and Ross O'Brien row 12. Dean Everest and Joe Ratcliffe row 13. Sam Morris and Cameron Williams on row 14. Tim Crowter and Grachan Kalvinsky on row 30, and then Keith Segal, the last of those who we've seen so far today on this list, 31st. There are a few more if you eagle-eyed amongst you looking at the live timing, but 32nd through 36th are not beating the race.
Full weigh-in for that B final in
Oh,
heavyweights
okay.
as well going on. That's why there's a queue outside our window.
Hello.
These are all drivers who have yet to be weighed. They can.
Confirmed super heavyweight situation. Richard Newton is out of the title running for 2021 with 21st in that B final.
It's been a great season for him nonetheless.
Yep. Credit to him coming back from the incident yesterday.
And I think as well, even on that race just then, had a spin early doors. He recovered to what, 15th in that one? A very impressive result. So, you know, he's been driving really well. He can take some heart from that, and hopefully, well, I mean, he's still very much towards the sharp end of the super heavyweights there. But in terms of a bid for a championship win, hopefully it is for this year. Hopefully 2022 provides more of an opportunity there.
If you're enjoying the coverage here on DDMM, do make sure that you've given that subscribe button a click. It really does make a difference to us. And as I say, we've got plenty more Club 100 and BUKC action coming up before we get to the end of the year. Esports midweek stuff over the next 3 weeks, and yeah, then we are looking forward to BUKC qualifiers weekend coming up later in November, and also with our work here on Alpha Live, got things like Wilton Mill Kart Club. Still got a couple of rounds of Wilton Mill Kart Club between now and the end of the year that we'll be commentating for, and you know, whilst I'm going rogue and other stuff that we've got on the DDMM YouTube channel, we've got all the stuff from Rock Cup Super Final. In Italy a couple of weeks ago. We put a playlist together for you folks, so if you want to watch back of all the little highlights videos and all the finals that we had 2 Saturdays ago, head to the DDM YouTube page, and I think it's like the second thing down, big list. You see my stupid face on some of the thumbnails, and yeah, enjoy that. Particularly there was a very good senior rock final, which was the last race of the weekend, so yeah, go check all of that out. The whistle has just gone, so that indicates that we are good to go for the lightweight B final. Same situation that we just spoke about in the heavyweights, Howard. These drivers are going out, they will not get any practice, and the track has changed a lot since they were last out there.
We did see 3 practice laps for the B final, though, in heavyweights. They broke with convention, I think, on that a little bit, just because of the nature of the thing. And also, credit where credit's due, they're running to schedule amazingly well today in Club 100. It's been absolute shipshape.
We've just had confirmation as well. Statsman has put his hand up. Kieran Chigsey, by the day, that really good day he's had, I think he is out of the contention now for super heavyweight. So I think, does that mean we're down to 2, David? I'm sure he'll confirm on the text chat in a few moments' time. And I'm moving the wrong mouse. Try not to kill the stream again. But yeah, but no, the good thing is that the title is going down to Bayford Meadows for super heavyweights. We're going to bench that for a moment though, because it is time for the lightweights and their B final.
Yeah, just to clarify then on this one, we already have an A final qualifier in Class 3. In fact, let's do a bit of housekeeping on that. On the A final in heavyweights, we can say that Dan Hollinshead has now won the round in Class 3 for today, because he's the only Class 3 to qualify. Is that the same story in lightweights? Well, we've got George Lawler, who is the only Class 3 to have qualified onto the A grid so far. So that means that if none of his fellow classmates in Class 3 get into the top 2 positions in this lightweights B final, then he will win Class 3 for today. So he will probably be watching proceedings quite closely here. The difference being that the pole sitter in this is Sam Essery,
yes,
who is a Class 3 runner and is currently looking very good for the Class 3 championship within lightweights. So you wouldn't bet against him getting up into that A final. Sorry, I'm not being antisocial. I'm doing stuff so that we can monitor this race.
I can probably yell the the situation there. If I just make the preview screen a bit bigger. Do let us know on the DDMM stream if there's any changes. We are still very much in test mode of our things here. Oh dear, someone's had a big
quite
off.
a moment, and that's got to be up by the horseshoe because that's JV with him, isn't it?
Yeah. We just admire JV's, new gear. This got debuted at Wilton Mill BUKC test session a few weeks ago, which also had biblical rain. I was in the office at the time, about 15 miles up the road from Wilton Mill, and the weather hit us first. I texted a couple of people at the track going, prepare yourselves. The thunderstorm, genuine thunderstorm coming. And there was a picture that I got sent up by Sam Dimlow. It's like, check out the main man, ready for these, not for fishing, but for the conditions here at this end of the year. Hello to Ben Simpson, who's here with us on the DDMM stream. Go on, Callum Brule from Warwick A. Indeed, one of the highlighter trio with us here, and we'll have Alistair in the A final as well. So hope you're doing well, Ben. So I think the checkered flag is out now for the practice laps.
Yep.
Can we just have a reminder of that grid?
We will, yeah. So Sam Morris, by the way, was the driver who had gone off at the horseshoe. He's back underway again now. So just as a reminder, it is Sam Essery on pole with Greg Smith alongside, Callum Brule and James Wattis on row 2. Angus Waddle and Thomas Barrett are row 3. Then it's Matthew Cockram, Andrew Rabbage on 4. Jed Toole and Rogerio Mendes round out your top 10. Tony Philbin and Russell Cooper are row number 6. Then it's Justin Draper, who's been going very well today, I think, in the Class 3 runnings. And James Dunnett, that's row 7. Row 8 is Luke Dunnett and Atava Desai. Row 9 is Ritzwan Mangat, and Andy Berry. Jason Bradbury, that's a Class 1 runner. He'll be looking to try and get up the order. And Jagjit Singh round out your top 20. It's not often we see a Class 1 and a Class 3 lining up on the same row of a grid in these finals. James Browning and Aaron Stillwell on row 11. Amy Breacher and Ross O'Brien on row 12. Amy Breacher is a key player in the Class 3 runnings in this. She'll be looking to get up on up the order, I think. Dean Everest and Joe Radcliffe are next on row 13. Then it's Sam Morris and Cameron Williams on row 14. Tim Crowter and Gracian Kalvinsky on row 15. Then we've got a row 16 of Keith Segal and Sam Slater. A 17th row of Colin Reynolds and Steph Theodoru, but they're not here. So that's why we've got a B final. So I'm going to cut it off there. Row 16, Keith Segal in 31st, and it's going to be a 31 car grid. That's it.
We're going around for another lap.
We are going around for another lap.
Which is why I was doing this. See, you get to see all of our hand signals.
We do.
It's not just mechanics who do the hand signals.
I had a parallax error earlier on Keep Talking.
This is going round again.
Yeah.
This is Keep Talking. I'm busy.
Oh, I mistranslated as Wrap It Up.
Ah, yes, because we've got the slow. Welcome to the comms box. This is what happens. Hello to Hicks as well, saying you look so dry. Yes, we are. What we will say, though, is our kit, which is over there from yesterday, is still wet. It's still wet.
For want of a better phrase, we've done our time.
Yeah.
All right, we did the endurance yesterday.
We were out there for considerably longer, more track time in those conditions.
I was the last nutter crew chief still out on that balcony, I'll tell you that now.
There's a race about to go, though. Here we go for the B final. Samuel Essery really hits it from pole position. Greg Smith gets a good start as well from P2, and those two will lead into the first bus stop. Callum Brule was a little bit slow away there from grid 4, but he's held himself. In fact, the top 4 are clear. It is Wattis and Brule joining Essery and Smith there. And they will like this if they can push away. But it is only the top 2 to go through. It's not like a C to a B. This is in the olden days of the Open Lightweight and Heavyweight Championship. This is like your Trophy B final, where there's always only been 2 opportunities to get up into the A final. In the last chance, the number 93 is pulled through as well. That's Thomas Barrett. But I like the look of Angus Waddle in this race. We've seen some good pace from Angus so far today. Had a spin, ended in the bark in one of his heats, hence why he's in this B final. Could make his way through this order.
I've got to say, considering how huge this field is, 31st lap, as far as I'm aware, no major incidents. We can see here, in the glorious sunshine here at Lydd, it's always like this. Sam Essery leads. No, excuse me, James.
Yeah, Essery leads from Smith.
Essery leads, sorry.
Brewell.
Yeah, just had a transponder issue there on timing. And Sam Essery sets a 59.6 to become the first driver today to dip below a 60-second lap.
Well done.
There you go. There's Greg Smith in the 98. Well, it would be Greg. Sorry, I've forgotten. You can't see it, but Greg Smith is out there in second place. James Wattis in third. Is Wattis going to feel a bit... he's going to fancy his chances with this, isn't he? Because he's had some very impressive drives. And there's Callum Brewell on the grass.
Oh, hang on. Callum
that is
gets
Brewell
it
on the
back
grass.
on the road.
That is on driver's left, coming out of the horseshoe. And I wonder, Andrew, is that you getting overconfidence, just hitting a bit of the standing water that's still there on the horseshoe, and it's just pushed him out wide, and that's game... well, not game over, but highly unlikely now that he can get up into A final.
Horseshoe in any conditions, you want to open up the right-hander kink, and I reckon as somebody else has gone off at the back of the field there, if you can check who that is, Howard, that he's probably just got his left-hand wheels on the wet stuff, tried to turn in, the car that one under control. Lesser drivers would have been having had a heavy impact with the wall. Trouble is, where's he gone down to? Well, it's not too bad. That's not out the woods.
He starts to plummet or ramp up, if you want to think of it that way. Greg Smith at 58.8.
Yep.
Fastest lap of the race. It's going to absolutely
Waddle's
tumble now.
Waddle, I think, is up to third, Howard.
Andy Berry was your driver who was off, in addition to Callum Brewell going wide there. Excuse me, mate, what was that last development?
Waddle is up to fourth, has got past Barrett. Barrett has also been, well, nearly got overtaken by Brewell there.
Yep. Another fastest lap, 58.2. It's just plummeting from now on. This is pretty much the most effective way that you can dry a go-kart track. Send a load of carts around it and have a light breeze. That's pretty much the best thing you can do. This is going to be this corner in particular that we're looking at right now, the Parabolica. Your dry line's going to form where the wet line is because it's where everyone's driving. So it's going to be an interesting... oh, he's getting ambitious with the editing here.
Sorry, folks, this is a horrible view for you on the DDOM stream, but I have just had an idea. Keep talking, Howard.
So, Callum Brewell pursuing... Callum Brewell is pursuing Tom Barrett down the back straight.
There you go.
And into the final corner.
This is all being recorded, by the way, so don't worry. You will be able to look at it later.
And here is Callum Brewell tucking underneath Barrett now, and he's going to get the job done into turn number 1, up into 5th place. Sam Essery still leads this one. Greg Smith in second, some 3 seconds further back, and then it's a gap of 1.1 back to James Wattis. In 3rd place.
Should have known that would happen. I think we are now back live on the stream on live. Apologies. The B final in the lightweights competition.
Yeah, don't worry. There has been, as far as I'm aware, we've been able to capture anything whilst you've been away. So just to bring you up to speed, heavyweights Sprint B final has been run. It was won by where at the moment it is Sam Essery who leads. And the interesting thing on that front, well, there's several interesting things on that front, but notably, if Essery can get promotion, it denies George Lawler winning Class 3 for today's round by default, because he at the moment is the only Class 3 to have got up into the A final. So Essery there in the lead. We have seen lap times dip below 60 seconds for the first time today. Fastest, and it's started to plummet as well. Fastest lap of the race at the moment of 58.2 from Sam Essery as the circuit really begins to dry out. Here's a man on a mission. Callum Brewell running in 5th on the tail of Angus Waddle. Now Brewell a few laps ago went wide out of the horseshoe, and he was really looking good to get the promotion spot. He had so much frustration when he ran wide, and he lost a lot of time, but he's now a man on the mission, as I say, on the tail of Angus Waddle, who himself will probably be fancying himself for getting on up the order. But the trouble for them now is that the gap between James Wattis in 3rd and Waddle in 4th is nearly 8 seconds. That is one heck of a gap. So if Waddle and Brewell are going to have a chance, they need to sort themselves out quickly, work together, whatever works best, but they better decide quick. Behind them is this battle between Barrett, Cockram and Jason Bradbury. In fact, here is Bradbury down the inside now of Matthew Cockram and gets the job done. Jason won't thank me for drawing attention to this, but the only Class 1 runner in this B final field, and it just hasn't been his day so far, just up into 7th place there. And there's a critical move as well, that Callum Brull has now got past Waddle up into 4th, but it might not be there might not be enough time left on the clock, as a new fastest lap of the race again. I told you the lap times were tumbling. 57.883 now for Sam Essery. He is 4 seconds up the road from Greg Smith, who is himself 1.5 seconds ahead from another driver who might fancy himself in that A final, James Wattis. We've seen some great, particularly great race starts from Wattis today. But now Wattis really, if he can, needs to try and close the gap to Greg Smith, because that is the final ticket to the lightweight A final in this one. I don't think there's enough, unless Callum Brull can really find a turn of pace, and he has just picked up a track limit warning, so he's pushing. He's definitely trying to find it. I don't know if there's enough time for him to reel in the 8.5 second gap that he needs to. Well, that's to Wattis. It's another 1.5 seconds then to Greg Smith. Here's Jason Bradbury down the inside of Thomas Barrett into the final corner, as the drivers begin to feel more confidence in these conditions as things start to dry out. But the big thing there is there's confidence, and then there's overconfidence. And as we've already seen for a fair few people in this race, in fact, that can easily get the better of you, and one moment of overconfidence or ill judgment can cost you a lot of time. Sam Essery, though, leading this one with 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Longer race format, of course, in these finals. We're up to 12 minutes now compared to the 7 minutes of our heats earlier today. There's the 75 of Jed Toole, and he's trying to pursue Matthew Cockram for 8th place. Russell Cooper rounding out the top 10 is the next Class 3 runner after Sam Essery. So what's the significance of that, you wonder? Well, that's the final podium position spot in Class 3 for today's round. So that's really good for Russell so far. And he's got quite a gap. I think he's got some 6 or 7 seconds and a couple of karts between himself and Jagjit Singh, who's the next Class 3 runner. So good running so far from Russell Cooper. He's just got to keep things nice and steady for the next 2.5 and a bit minutes, and he should secure himself a Class 3 podium for today.
Yeah, he's racing really well out there. Track limit warning for Ross O'Brien. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this race. No +1 lap, so the next time they see, or the time that they see the checkered, or the start line after that time's expired, it will be checkered flag. What that means is that Samuel Essery is mere minutes away from becoming our first champion, I think, of the year. Class 3 champion. 10 laps completed. So what are we looking at there? That was with 2 minutes to go. I reckon there's 2 more laps. 2 more laps here for everybody out there.
Yeah. And we always stress this is very much provisional in our maths, but we're fairly confident of this one. Amy Breacher running in 18th place. Just saw her a bit on that last lap. Was really the only person who could deny that. And at the moment, well, she's having a good battle out there right this moment. Hasn't got enough in hand, hasn't done enough today to take the fight to Essery. And Essery, even though he did end up in the wood chippings at one point today, is looking good, as Andrew says, to be provisionally crowned that Class 3 champion. He's going to do it in style, provided he can keep it together for the next minute.
Side by side between the 37 and the 87. This is
and that's place. Justin Draper,
yep,
who came in a bit hot there. He's had a very good day, but that was a costly moment for him. You can see the frustration there.
Jason Bradbury has got past Angus Waddle for 6th place. Through goes the 37. Look at this.
Phil been and done it.
It's that Mendes, Rogerio.
Yeah.
Mendes slips by, gets 2 positions out of all of that. Some great scraps going on.
No, it's Desai. It's a Desai.
Sorry. Yeah, it is Desai. Gaining 2 positions with some heads-up driving there from Desai. That's That's 14th place. Draper falls down, is now into 23rd place. As who is that off? That is the 165 of Tim Crowther. Gets going again. There's Greg Smith on his screens. Just needs to keep calm on this. There's a good gap to James Wattis. James Wattis is not in striking distance yet.
But he's turning the screws here, putting the pressure on. If Greg Smith makes the slight error, he'll be on it. Sam Essery, though, heading back up the circuit now. Here he is on the tail of someone a lap down, but there he is. And yeah, what a season it's been for Sam Essery. And right now he's gonna get some extra karting in because he's gonna get promoted.
Yeah, and he's gonna gain more points as a result. There is the battle for second place. Greg Smith is just holding on here. But round the final corner to not just win the race, but become 2021 Lightweight Sprint C3 champion. Samuel Essery wins in the B final. It's going to be close on the line, but Greg Smith's going to take the 26th and final spot in the A final. He takes it by 1/4 of a second in the end, ahead of James Wattis. Callum Brule recovers to 4th place there. Had that error early on in the race coming out of the horseshoe. 5th place for Jason Bradbury, but has penalties. 6th for Angus Waddle. 7th will be Thomas Barrett. 8th for Matthew Cockram over the line there in the 30. Jed Toole in the 75 finishes in 9th. It'll be Russell Cooper in the 26. Ooh, close on the line there between the 26 and the 101 of Rogerio Mendes. Andrew Rabbage, I think, is going to be next over the line in the 61. Then a good drive from Jagjit Singh. And Atharva Desai there in 14th. Amy Breacher 15th and is still on for a very good finish within C3. Could wrap up a top 3 in C3 when we go to Bayford Meadows in a few weeks' time. Rizwan Mangat in 16th. Tony Philbin, Ross O'Brien, Dean Everest and Keith Scal. That's your top 20. James Dunnett 21st. Sam Morris 22nd. James Browning, Justin Draper. Aaron Stillwell is your top 25. Luke Dunnett will be the last driver over the line on the lead lap there in 26th. And then Grachan Kalvinsky, Andrew Berry, Tim Crowther, Joe Ratcliffe and Cameron Williams all a lap off the overall lead. Well done Samuel Essery though. Had a job to do today. Started off very well. Had a bit of a drop back in that 3rd heat, but responds brilliantly, wins the B final, wins the championship in C3, and he's still got the A final to come.
Yeah, gets a bonus race. Always good. I don't know if he wants to sort of celebrate, really. But you just parade lap round the back of the A final, you'll be fine. No, actually don't. You can take the overall round win if you can beat George Lawler in that race as well. Coming up next, though, it's potentially time for more champions to be crowned. Who knows? Up next is the A final in the heavyweights here at Lydd.
Welcome back everybody to coverage of round 10 of the 2021 Club 100 Sprint Championships here at Lydd. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell from DDMM, Double Dash Motorsport Media, with you on your Alpha live stream. And thank you very much, guys. I know we've had some technical issues with the full stream, but we kept it going here on the DDMM channel and we've hit 500 subscribers. So thank you very much everybody for your support.
It means a huge amount. Thank you very much.
And it really, really does make a big difference if you press that subscribe button. So if you haven't done so already, and either on the Alpha Live channel or here on DDMM, it really does help out.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on the Alpha Live stream, obviously subscribe to Alpha Live. Do please consider hopping over to us as well. We've got loads of great stuff coming up in the next few weeks.
Tuesday 9 PM, Gran Turismo Sport Esports Series for Club 100 and BUKC drivers. That's got a season finale with championships to be decided.
Absolutely.
2 weeks after that, or the 2 following weeks after that, on the Wednesday night, we've got the culmination of the iRacing Series. I say this is all the esports stuff that was born out of the lockdowns last year when we couldn't do this. We couldn't do Club 100 racing for real, so we did big race.
It's huge. This grid is
for
mega.
many reasons. I don't know, shall we take it through? Let's
go through the grid. So on pole position, and looking, if he takes the win, he takes the championship. It's that simple, folks. Joe Holmes on pole for this one. Next to him, alongside him, I should say, Richard Allen, who has his own championship battles to worry about and promote the campaign of in his bid within Class 2. Anwar Barul Smith is next. Championship rival or main champion, only driver still mathematically in it to take the title away from Joe Holmes. He really needs to put the pressure on Holmes in this race and deny Holmes that win. But he's got Matt Wildman alongside, who's also in a battle with him, a ferocious battle over second in the heavyweight championship. So that is a tasty. So much in the championship because he transitioned from lightweights to heavyweights earlier this season. But you can't count him out. His pace and his racecraft and his experience he's there very, very much on merit in amongst the top 6. Tarek Almou's next. Had a good weekend, I think, has Tarek, with Craig Brown alongside. That's your 4th row, and then your top 10 is rounded out by Steve Bosley. And the highest placed super heavyweight, albeit by our math, but Kieran Chigsey has had an absolutely stellar day. But here's the thing. Conditions totally different. How does that impact stuff going forward? So that was down to your top 10. Then it's Steve Lindley and Callan Sigafus. Lewis Ridd and Adam Wright are next. Adam Wright having a difficult day here so far. Very consistent driver, but he'll be looking to move on up the order. Miguel Hall and Josh Pettit are next on row 8. Mikey Nichols and Tim Williams are your 9th row. Mike Bodner and Tom Fuller round out your top 20. Then it's Anthony Ridd and Lee Henderson. Henderson, another super heavyweight driver. Guaranteed a super heavyweight podium for this round now by being in this A final, as far as I'm aware. Dan Hollinshead is confirmed as we've already said, as the Class 3 winner for this round, but obviously we'll be looking to make up as much points as possible. He's had a cracking day so far, and he's got Jordan Salter alongside him as well on that 12th row. And the 13th row are 2 promotees from the B final, David Jarvis and Simon Kavanagh. David Jarvis, our 3rd super heavyweight driver in this A final, and Simon Kavanagh, another Class 2 runner, bring us up to the 26 car quota.
Right, we've covered the C1, but I also want to cover some of the others. So as I say, Joe Holmes win the race, he's won the championship. C2 currently looks like this. I'm going to base this on this being the most boring race ever and nobody changes position. Alex Pritchard would be on 1427 banked. Richard Allen 1433. And it's really, I think it's, in terms of today, it's between those two. But I think what's crucial for them is if they can hold those positions, I think they can't. Sorry, no, they cannot knock Jonathan Elliott out of the title fight for C2 today. So Jonathan's going to be watching this race from home with bated breath as to what those two guys do. Super heavyweights, Lee Henderson just needs to stay calm in this. He's already, by being in this final, improving his score. He doesn't need to go rash. He doesn't need to go, oh, send it. I'm going to get up to 10th place by the first corner, starting from the 11th row. Every single position he can gain, he's earning points, and he's putting himself in a stronger position ahead of Bill Taylor going into Bayford Meadows. C3 is still wide open because we've not really had like a dominant force in it like we have with Samuel Essery to the wire. The super heavyweight, that's definitely going to the wire, but this is a big race in the context of both of those championships. For drivers to put themselves, in the Max Verstappen position in Formula 1 at the moment, where they're not absolutely needing to go all out to get the title.
And if you're wondering, how does some of that work? He's talking about banked scores and all that. Just as a reminder, your 8 out of 11 rounds worth of results championship score. Yeah. The worst 3 rounds worth of results are deleted. Now, why am I saying that in such measured language? What I mean by that is you won't necessarily go, this was my worst round. All 3 heats and the final of that round are part of my drop score. It is actually let's get the maths right. It's your best 24 out of 33 heats.
Yep.
And it's your best 8 out of 11 finals.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
If you've done a full season, and obviously if you've missed 1 or 2 rounds, they count as you dropped scores.
Exactly. So
we will guide you through it all.
But that's that's what at this stage we're talking about the banked scores, i.e. if they were
They
abducted
decided,
by aliens from now
I'm
on.
not going to race anymore this season. Bye-bye, I'll see you in 2022.
And it's that versus the best mathematical score that their rivals can get if from here on in they won every single race that they appeared in. That's the comparison we've got to do to work out if the drivers are still mathematically in it. So, practice laps are finished. I may have missed it. I don't think I've seen a single kart change out there, interestingly. It's fairly unusual for an A final. Mind you, I'm sure they're out there going, this feels great compared to earlier.
That's the thing is, it's actually quite hard to tell in this scenario at the moment. Don't worry, that's Sam Dimolo going through as a kart tester. Hello, Sam.
Thanks for helping us make the kart change mid-race yesterday, Sam.
Not the first time he's had to help with the GoPro mounting this season. It's fine, Sam. Just let's go.
He had to grab me as well because I was about to run off going, it's good we've done the kart change. Hang on, what was wrong with it? Why'd you bring it in? I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough. But hey-ho. So this is going to be it. The order could be completely turned up. I mean, we know that, the top six in particular. Well, I say the top six. We know the top end of this grid are good in any conditions.
Yes.
But the order could be upset by the changing conditions. That's the really interesting thing here.
Sorry, I thought Alex Pritchard was just going and inventing his own track there, but no, he's fine. Richard Allen's back, and look, he's got his full
it's a different helmet
kit now. So he's going to be ready and charged for this one.
Absolutely. So 26 karts in this A final for round 10 of the 2021 Club 100 Sprint Championship, with Alpha Live streaming for you and commentary provided by Double Dash Motorsport Media, myself, Howard Mitchell, and Andrew Mather. And here we are. We're away for the race. Joe Holmes will lead them away into the first chicane. And now, how does it work? Because a dry line is forming, and if you get pushed off of that dry line, you're going to know about it. They stay as they are, at least amongst the top three, coming out that first chicane. But the headline there for me is a very good start here, early doors for Joe Holmes. He just wants to go. He just wants to be the whippet that just goes on up the track, and he wants to watch Anwar Barul-Smith and Dickie Allen tripping over each other in the back as there's an incident further back in the field.
There is indeed. Early laps of this crucial. We've not talked about the slipstream round here so far, but it is one of those circuits where it can come into play. If Joe Holmes can break out of the slipstream early on in this race, I think it's very hard to see anybody being able to beat him here today.
He hasn't done it yet. Richard Allen's had a good second half to this lap, Andrew. I've just seen as they come down the back straight. We're looking here at Matt Warman chasing Alex Pritchard through that final corner in the battle over fourth. As they cross the line, though, it is Joe Holmes, but only by 0.3 of a second over Richard Allen. Anwar Barul-Smith, Alex Pritchard, Matt Warman, your top five. Tarek Almu doing well to stay in touch with them as well. And drivers having an issue on that first lap. Josh Pettit and Anthony Ridd, I'm afraid to say, have dropped down right to the back of the field. So those were the drivers tripping over each other. Warman spun.
It was Almu who was trying to overtake there.
Yeah, and that was pod-to-pod contact there between Almu and Warman, and that could be hugely costly for Matt Warman in his pursuit of second in the championship. No longer mathematically in it for the win, but that's at least, well, not how you want it, but that's at least some good news in inverted commas for Anwar Barul-Smith.
So it's good news for Adam Wright as well.
True.
Trying to get back into third place, and even you see our people that we're talking about in C2, they're not out of getting in the top three overall. Who was starting on pole position for the very first race today, and there's another driver who's gone under the radar, has been really solid throughout today, riding there in 7th place.
Just in terms of pace, we're in a different paradigm now. There's 53.8 is the fastest lap of the race now. Completely different league to what we've seen for most of the day. Penalty for Tarek Almu for the ABC takeout. That's for the incident with Matt Warman. So that's going to be a costly one for Almu. It doesn't change what's happened there in the championship, as you can really see the bits of the circuit now drying out. This is Chris Alcock turning through the horseshoe. But this is the thing. What's now the best line through the horseshoe? That's the fascinating thing at this point. No longer are they kicking up puddles. But that doesn't mean that all is easy out there. Adam Wright here on the tail of Craig Brown, is that? And that's Henderson. That is Lee Henderson. And I think that's up at the horseshoe.
Yeah, it's
Welby, doesn't it? We'll just double check it as they turn the carts around.
Yeah, it's the 44th Mike
Yeah.
Bodner and Steve Lindley.
Oh, that's
this is off
two-
on the entry to the last corner.
There's two drivers who I did feel have driven very well today,
Yeah.
so unfortunate for them tripping over each other, but this is crucial, Andrew. At the moment, Joe Holmes is doing it. He has broken away 2.3 seconds to the good is Joe Holmes now, and Richard Allen doesn't at the moment have the pace to answer for that. It's 2.3 seconds between Holmes and Allen, and then a further 2 seconds back to Burrell Smith. No one out there, and another fastest lap of the race, a 53.4 now for Joe Holmes. He is doing exactly what he needed. When you come into today and you go, well, mathematically, Joe Holmes needs a clean sweep of race wins to take the championship, it sounds unlikely, but pretty much everyone here was going, yeah, but he is very good around Lydd, and he has had one heck of a season, and this is exactly the kind of thing that we were talking about from Joe Holmes, and at the moment, he is sitting pretty to take this championship.
It would be the second time that he's done it this season. Round 4, he took the clean sweep. And Anwar Burrell-Smith will keep pushing, of course, because he could all but secure second place in the title here with the way that the points are working out now. And that spin for Matt Wildman, who is the fastest driver out on circuit at the moment, 53.216. Steve Lindley being lapped there by Chris Alcock, who's having another solid race there in 6th place.
I still love the number of steering corrections that Alcock had to make going through that double apex. It's still very tricky out there to try and judge all of this. 52.4. Has he just improved the fastest lap by a second?
Yep.
Has Joe Holmes. He is mastering the art of feeling the grip as he goes around here. 7 minutes left on the clock. Here is Miguel Hall. He is pursuing Craig Brown at the moment over 11th place.
Takeout penalty for Mike Bodner, so that's +6 for Mike at the end of this race. Keeping an eye on C2. Richard Allen would lead the C2 championship standings. Remember, all of the points, it's not done like, oh, well, you're the first C2 on the road. Maximum points for you. No, it's done on the overall. So at the moment, he would be getting 128 points for finishing second in this race. His advantage at the moment would be 5 points if the race was to finish now with Alex Pritchard there in 4th.
Just in terms of who could take the round victory within super heavyweights, of course, we saw Lee Henderson with the incident, which, by the way, may have wider implications for Bill Taylor in that super heavyweights championship. But Kieran Chigsey in 13th place. 15th place is David Jarvis, who, aside from anything else, that's a fantastic run, having got promoted from the B final.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily done and dusted yet. This man here, though, who's putting a lap here on Lee Henderson, what a turn of speed he's showing at the moment. It was a 52.4 last time around. It's a 52.3 this time around. I don't think anyone can find a response to this at the moment. Richard Allen, to his credit, has been the only other driver to dip into the 52s so far. A 52.8 is a personal best for him. But G3 Joe, at the moment, is bringing this one home.
We've seen some remarkable drives from Joe Holmes over the years. Remember here two and a bit years ago when he won the A final here at Lydd, starting from the middle of the order. You think back to Bayford Meadows earlier this season, where he did a Gilles Villeneuve-like job and held off the whole field for so long to win that race. This is another one. This is another remarkable Joe Holmes drive, but in a completely different fashion. Simply a league of his own today from lap 1 of his first race. Still got 5 minutes to go, of course. It's not done. 5 seconds is his lead now over Richard Allen. 10 seconds over title rival Anwar Burrell-Smith. And if there's a way to win a title and wrap it up for a season, what a way to do it.
51.7 new fastest lap.
And as I say, this is going back to what we saw yesterday in the endurance race. He was out there for the second hour. We never got down to these times, but it was just constantly, what's the barometer of this circuit? How fast can you really go? Well, just look for wherever Holmes is on the circuit. He wasn't leading the race, but he was the fastest driver out there come the end of that run. Track limit warning for Lee Henderson. There's Tariq Almout. We know he's got a 6th place penalty to come at the end of this race. Sigafus.
Notably, Matt Wildman hasn't made too much progress up the order yet. He's down in 19th place, chasing down Daniel Hollinshead over 18th place, but then he's got a bit of a gap to go, I think, before he can get onto the backs of the likes of Tom Fuller and Tim Williams.
Statman Dave makes a very good point. Alex Pritchard, yes, is losing points to Richard Allen, but he's got a very good situation that his Applewood endurance teammate Chris Alcock is sat pretty much behind him, and surely he's not going to overtake. You know, they will know the situation here. So Alex has got a rear gunner now to make sure that he can maximise the points from this race. And a 4th place would still be a really, really good result for Alex. He does like it in the latter stages of the season. Remember 12 months ago, this very weekend 12 months ago, him taking a overall podium at Rye House in one of these A finals. And it's been a very good day for him in that 77 kart.
51 dead for Joe Holmes, new fastest lap.
And it is that thing of knowing where the pace is going to be and be able to put the car in those positions to get the lap time out of it. Allen has that instinct to do it.
Richard Allen is trying. First driver to go sub 52. Drivers here. They're getting there. It's not that their pace is, you know, they're all going sub 52 now. And fair play to them, but it's just Holmes has got the confidence to do that pushing earlier. And by the time everyone else has gone onto the pace, at least in this race, that's job done. So really, really impressive stuff. Sigafus has got past, Adam Wright just got past Steve Bosley on that last lap at exactly the same time that Matt Warman got past Dan Hollinshead there. So those two key protagonists, I've not got that phrase in yet today, those two key protagonists in Class 1.
Miguel Hall off. Miguel Hall off there from 12th place. That was on the exit of the... there's a contact warning for his troubles as well. Anthony Ridd has also had a contact warning. But yeah, that's Miguel Hall going to be falling down the order a bit. You mentioned Steve Bosley there. He's been brilliant today. I'd love to see Smith pilots his way through. And yeah, there'll be a tinge of disappointment that the title, or the chance to take the title to Bayford Meadows, is slipping away. But Anwar Barul-Smith, by our calculations, is securing 2nd place with this drive. Alex Pritchard not too far behind, though, as they're navigating their way past Lee Henderson. He's a lap down.
Do you just want to give a shout out to our 2 promotees from that B-Fon? I mentioned David Jarvis up to 14th place, Simon Kavanagh up to 17th place. Not too shabby from the back of the grid, guys. That's pretty decent, I'd say, in conditions where it is hard to overtake because the dry line forms in a particular groove first. But yeah, as you say, Andrew, Barul-Smith doing a good job here, but it's kind of not the job he wanted to do in many respects. He wanted to take the fight to Joe Holmes, who just sets another fastest lap of the race, a 50.7, and is now on his last lap of the circuit. In fact, he's already a third of the way through it. We can barely keep up with this guy half the time. He is that quick. But what a season it has been. You know what? Chris Alcock, new fastest lap of the race, a 50.314, 314, excuse me. So there you go. But this is the thing. Joe got onto the pace so much sooner that he's already. It's like when a car switches onto the correct tyres in a Grand Prix, and they've just made the time back, even if the other players eventually get onto it. This man here, then, Joe Holmes, is going to come round. He's going to take the clean sweep for round number 10. He wins round number 10 of the 2021 championship, and provisionally, at least we say, is your heavyweight champion overall and in Class 1 for 2021. Here's a tasty battle going on between Pritchard and Barul-Smith, and Alcock's trying to get involved as well. And that's for your overall podium there as well. Richard Allen finishes a very respectable 2nd place and sets himself up for a very tasty end to his Class 2 campaign. Alex Pritchard there, though, crucially getting that 3rd spot. Every point could count in this, don't forget. Takes 3rd position, 2nd within Class 2 for this 10th round of the championship. Anwar Barul-Smith in 4th, finishes 2nd within Class 1. And again, provisionally, I think we say has secured 2nd spot within the championship off the back of that, albeit dropping that 1 position at the end there. Chris Alcock in 5th overall and 3rd of the Class 1 runners. And Cal Sigafus is going to round out your Class 2 podium for this 10th round of the championship in 6th place. 7th was Tarek Almu. Adam Wright got up to 8th in the end. Steve Bosley, brilliant day's racing from him in 9th. Then it was Mikey Nichols in 10th. Craig Brown, Lewis Ridd, Kieran Chigsey is your winner in super heavyweights for round number 10. David Jarvis is second in super heavyweights for round 10 in 14th. And it's Miguel Hall, Tom Fuller, Matt Wildman. Costly moment for him in that race there. What bearing is that going to have on his championship bid for the podium spots within that championship? Simon Kavanagh in 18th, 19th for Tim William. Then it was Dan Hollinshead who wins Class 3 on novice class for round 10. Well done to him in 20th. Jordan Salters next. Then it was Anthony Ridd, Josh Pettit. Lee Henderson rounds out your super heavyweight podium for this round in 24th overall. Costly moment for him in that as well. Steve Lindley in 25th, and 26th was Mike Bodner. But Joe Holmes, provisionally, fastest lap of the race as well, was with Callan Sigafoose, a 50.2, right at the death there of that one. So impressive pace improvement throughout the field. But Joe Holmes there, taking the win. And as I say, provisionally we say your 2021 champion, and he's done it in style.
Yeah, I mean, we said it at the start of the day, clean sweep. And I think looking at the conditions, that was definitely on the cards, but I didn't think he was going to do it in that way. He stuns us again, and a thoroughly deserved championship title for Joe Holmes. And he's still got a round to go. He's still got Bayford Meadows, where he took that dramatic win earlier in the season.
Can cruise at Bayford now.
Yeah.
Can cruise it. But no, very, very impressive stuff. And we might be about to have a repeat performance, folks. Coming up next here for you at Lydd on your Alpha live stream with the commentary from Double Dash Motorsport Media is the final race of the weekend. It's the A final in lightweights.
Back here at Lydd then, getting ready for the final race of the weekend. It is the A final for the Lightweight Sprints Championship round 10 for the Club 100 Lightweight Sprints Championship 2021. Let's have a look through the grid then for another race that could decide where the title goes for this season. Jack O'Neill starts on pole position. It just needs to win this race, and he has got it all wrapped up. For definite. There is a question provisionally. Those like in a US election, it's too close to call as the points stand at the moment going into this final race. But what we do know is that yes, if Jack O'Neill wins this race, he will be your champion, and the reign of Ed Bars will be over, who's won for the last 2 seasons. Mike Coppin joins him on the front row, and I think Mike Coppin is a real danger today. His starts in particular have been fantastic. And he starts this one, as I say, P2 on the grid. Ed Bars and Dan Healy, last year's champion, last year's runner-up, start there on the second row. And they're going to want to give this everything to take the title battle to Bayford Meadows if they can. Peter Knight already has the C2 title, starts this race on the third row of the grid alongside Daz Teal, who won last time out at Wilton Mill. So what a top 3 rows that is. Josh Adams, the mix of youth and experience on the fourth row of the grid. Josh Adams alongside Tom Dix. Rihanna Percox and David Longman are there on the fifth row of the grid. Ramona Sakauskas and Alistair Irvin are there on the sixth row of the grid. Steve Hicks and Ashley White on row 7. Rob Langthorpe and Reese Pope are on the 8th row of the grid. Dante Dillon and Christopher Powell on row 9. Garrett Berry and Dan Seeger on row 10. Bryn Alban and Stephen Westwood on the 11th row of the grid. George Lawler, one of our 2 C3 runners in this A final, starts on the 12th row of the grid alongside Ned Douglas. And then the second of those C3 runners, Samuel Essery, starts on the 13th row of the grid, having won the B final. Through with him from that B final on 26th place on the grid is Greg Smith.
There we go, and then that's your 26 kart grid for this A final here for round 10 of the Lightweights Sprints Championship in Club 100 for 2021. A drying circuit here at Lydd, which, well, had we not been hit, look at that shot there. Goodness me, the blue skies over the circuit. I mean, had we not seen exactly the same thing happen yesterday, you wouldn't have believed it was going to when you turned up at the track this morning. But there we go. Laps. So can Jack O'Neill do a Joe Holmes, basically, and conclude a clean sweep of victories that sees him claim the crown. Again, completely different conditions for some of these drivers to get to grips with now. 12 minutes will be put on the clock for this one. I do just want to take the opportunity, as we often do ahead of the final race, so that we can wrap things up once this is done. You'll appreciate, if you have been following this weekend's coverage, a rather miserable set of conditions to be working in if you're not having fun racing. In fact, and sometimes, for some of us, it's been a slightly miserable time to be driving a go-kart. But if you're not having fun driving a go-kart, if you are there to wave a flag or work on the karts to keep them mechanically all ship-shape and Bristol fashion, it's not the nicest conditions to do it with. Also, if you're operating a camera in order to bring coverage of that racing back to everybody at home, then it's not the nicest conditions to do it ever. So perhaps this round, more than normal, we're particularly indebted to all of the crew here who have made, firstly, the marshals out on circuit who facilitated the racing, made it possible. The entire Club 100 gang who, once again, have put on a fantastic round of their fantastic championships. Come rain or shine, the karts have been working well here. And finally, a shout out to our colleagues in the Alpha Live crew who have been out there bringing you all the pictures throughout today's racing. We do hope that you've enjoyed it, and do please show your support for Alpha Live on your social media of choice, but if nothing else, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, and there's a whole back library for you to check out as well. If you've been watching this going, this looked like it was a good championship, you can go back and watch quite a significant chunk of it on the Alpha Live YouTube channel. So do please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And also, if you like what you've been hearing from a comms perspective, I would say if you like what you've seen on our comms box cam, but it's been our faces, so probably not that. But Club 100 and BUKC Legends iRacing Championship action coming up in the next couple of weeks. Yep. 2 weeks.
Back to back as well.
Yep, absolutely. So lots of action there, and as Andrew was saying earlier on, we've got a playlist together of some of the stuff that went on with the Rock final.
Yes.
As well. So head on over there.
Where the weather was decidedly better than it has been here today.
Well, yes.
A bit chilly in the evenings.
But yeah, no, a big shout out though to everyone who's made the racing possible today, and to everyone on the Alpha Live production side who has made this stream possible.
We are missing a Mike Coppin. There
we
he
are.
is.
There he is.
So for the C1 title, the situation is simple. Jack O'Neill has, well, if he wins this race, has won the title. Ed Bars has to win it to take it on to Bayford Meadows. Mike Coppin alongside on the front row. It's been in supreme form. This is some of the best form I've seen Mike in for quite a while here at Lydd this weekend. And Dan Healy has got a good record in these finals on a live stream. Didn't happen for him at Wilton Mill, but he was a big part of that race. Let's see how this one goes. We're ready for the lightweight sprint A final here at Lydd. Is Jack O'Neill about to become champion? Away we go here at Lydd for the A final. Brilliant start from both on the front row. Mike Coppin trying to go around the outside as their contact through turn 1 and turn 2. It's very close in there. And yes, Mike Coppin has emerged in the lead.
Yep, he's got it. He just swooped around the early turn-in of that first chicane. I could see out the window, Andrew, and got the job done. And it's actually forced O'Neill to... O'Neill's been down. He's down to 4th place. There was one driver just going through a bit of water and loose chippings on that first chicane, but got underway again. Everyone's facing the right way, but it's Coppin, Healy, and Teal, your top 3, as they come into the... They have denied Jack O'Neill the start that he wanted, and here is Teal now on Healy into the final corner, and what a move there from Daz Teal to open up the bidding. Meanwhile, Ed Bars is hounding Jack O'Neill, as is Josh Adams in the number 9 kart.
Well, this is not the order I was going to say was going to be at the end of lap 1. Coppin from Teal Healy. And Teal did this a few weeks ago at Wilton Mill, of course. Was really solid through the heats, got himself a good grid position, got a good start, and all of a sudden was in the fight for the win. But look at the lead that Mike Coppin has got here, 1 second clear of everybody else.
And the dry pace is, something akin to dry pace is coming out to play here. Mike Coppin on the opening lap becomes the first driver to drop below 50 seconds today. Suffice it to say, the lap time's going to drop. I won't keep on going on about that, but the pace is coming to these drivers, and there's a real dry line forming now.
Spreadsheet of Doom is reporting this. If the race was to finish right now, Jack O'Neill would be champion, even with him there in 4th place, because that's the key thing. Ed Barr's down in 7th. He's not doing enough here to take this title fight onto Bayford Meadows.
But newsflash, he's not in 4th place. Josh Adams is through now on Jack O'Neill, and now Rihanna Percox fancies a go at O'Neill. So Coppin leads. Daz Teal is in 2nd. But there's been a further change. Have they both... Oh, no. Ed Bars has got by on Rihanna Percox. That's what's happened there. As Hicks and Irvin are doing battle as well through the horseshoe.
Here's a remarkable stat for you, Howard. Mike Coppin has not had an A-final.
Ed Bars. Problem for Ed Bars. Problem for Ed Bars. That's huge. That is huge for Ed Bars. He seems to be... is he getting back up to speed again? Did he just do what we saw Callum Brule do earlier and just mess up out of the horseshoe? I don't know what that was, but he obviously had constrained pace down that back straight there. But that was a huge moment for Ed Bars. And the significance of that, Andrew, obviously, is that it gives points back to O'Neill in the championship.
Well, this is often how title deciders go. You know, there's a driver trying to push, having to win to take it on, and something happens early in the race that puts them out of it. And look at this, Daz Teal has closed up here. Started the day. Remember that first heat for Daz Teal? Won it, but was not the fastest driver out there. It was the cone penalty for Josh Adams. It's completely turned it around. 46.484, which is probably the fastest lap of the whole weekend so far. Such has been the weather conditions here at Lydd, and he's absolutely on it again. We couldn't possibly see 2 A-final victories for Daz Teal in a row. Hadn't won one for 18 months before Wilton Mill a few weeks ago, and here he is in prime position to get another.
Yeah, it's fair to say our top 3 here are in impressive form at the moment. Coppin, Teal, Healy. And you can see that Teal is right in the wheel tracks. He's a bit too far back to make a move here. And bear in mind, there is the difficulty that on certain corners, going off that dry line, you're going to suddenly find yourself squirreling around a little bit. But, wow, the pace, 46.4 from Daz Teal, more or less matched by Coppin as well. The pace is just plummeting down here. Ed Bars has just got by on Alistair Irvin, so he's trying to work himself back up. Should have mentioned O'Neill did get back past Adams. And Adams has a cone penalty. We should bear that one in mind. That might come into play for working out some of the points with Ed Bars in a moment as our top 3 goes through the 8.
So before the moment with Ed Bars, I can't remember if I finished this stat or not, but thank you very much to David Whitehouse providing it. Mike Coppin, is up the inside, goes Teal, tries to get through. Coppin will have the run though.
Healy will have speed over Teal, but I don't think he can do anything with it. Go now, say the stat
Coppin
now.
has not had an A-final podium all season.
Wow.
His best result is 4th. There's a cone penalty out there for George Lawler. So this would be quite something if Mike Coppin could win the race.
Should say that in Class 3 as well. Sam Essery is past George Lawler and ahead by quite some margin, so that's one to bear in mind within Class 3.
Yellow flags out at Horseshoe.
That's an amazing stat for Mike Coppin. Well, yellow flags out at Horseshoe.
Dan Healy has won a final. And here goes Daz Teal. He's got the run down the inside. Can he get the block pass into the last corner? Yes, he can. Can he get it shut down around the last apex? Yes. And Daz Teal, once again, a new fastest lap of the race to boot of 46.273. Daz Teal leads once more. Rob Langthorpe looks to be out of the race there. Was up in 13th. That's a real shame for the former Newcastle BUKC driver. But how about this for a late season turn of form? Daz Teal leads once again, but Coppin and Healy are still right there.
New fastest lap of the race, Ed Bars. He is fighting for this one. He wants to get back up. He's on the tail of Rihanna Percox now. Actually, I say that. He's got to make up a bit more time before he's on the back of Rihanna Percox. She's some 1.4 seconds up the road. It's just falling apart a bit here for Ed Bars, but he's trying his best out there for certain. As now Dan Healy is putting a bit of pressure on Coppin, but you'd have thought they want to maybe work together to keep Daz Teal within reach here. Then there comes Jack O'Neill and Josh Adams. Rihanna Percox staying with them as well. Actually, no, I read my timing a bit wrong. Rihanna Percox is 1.4 off the back of that O'Neill and Adams battle. So Ed Bars is starting to reel her in just a little bit at the moment. So Bars is going to try and get up into 6th. I don't know quite how far he'd have to get up to keep himself in with this one. He's got
to go all the way. He's got to win the race.
Right,
that's,
okay.
That's the thing for Ed Bars. How about Alistair Irvin as well? 9th place at the moment, leading in C2.
Yep.
And that would be huge for Alistair Irvin as he tries to secure 2nd place in C2 in the lightweights.
Yep. With Peter Knight in 11th would be 2nd on your C2 podium, and Reese Pope in 15th would round out your Class 2 podium.
As things stand, there would be the question of 2nd place and the number 2 seed for next year up for grabs between Healy and Bars when we get to Bayford Meadows. 4.5 minutes to go. Bars, as you see there, confirmed on your camera, confirmed on timing, through and into 6th place and the fastest driver out there at the moment. I'm not sure if that'll be a comfort for him at this stage.
Yeah, well, as you say, mate, this would end a 2-year reign for Ed Bars of carrying that number 1 on the kart. Mike Coppin, new fastest lap of the race, 45.7. He's bringing the gap down to Daz Teal again. I don't think it's entirely done yet for the lead of this one. In fact, you can see it here coming through the parabolica. Coppin is right back with Teal now, and Dan Healy's keeping with them as well. We're going to get a fantastic finish at the front. We're going to get an interesting finish from championship point of view as well here.
These two drivers as well, they're fighting over position in the standings. 4th for Teal at the start of the day, 5th for Coppin.
Peter Knight up to 10th place, Andrew, ahead of Ashley Whiting, is now 0.3 of a second off the back of Alistair Irvin, so it's not decided yet for who takes Class 2 spoils in this one either. So who's going to take the Class 1 win in round number 10? Who's going to take the Class 2 win in round number 10?
10 points would be the difference if things would stay this way between Teal and Coppin in their ranks. But here comes Healy trying to go for 2nd place. Get past Mike Coppin, he was a bit wide. Coppin fights back though, retakes the position or chops across to defend. That's given Teal some breathing room though. The biggest lead he's had so far in this race, and Coppin trying to encourage Dan Healy to go with him. Trouble is though, there's what, 2 minutes and 35 as they get across the line here or thereabouts, and the lead for Teal is now 1.1 seconds.
Ed Bars has overtaken Steve Hicks on this lap. Andrew and Rihanna Percox has followed through. But I'm also keeping an eye on this Class 2 battle. And yes, it's changed. Peter Knight up into 9th place, now ahead of Alistair Irvin. And Ashley White's got involved in that as well. So it's now Knight, White and Irvin, 9th, 10th and 11th respectively.
Contact warning for Samuel Essery, C3 champion, trying to make his way through the order. In fact, Greg Smith is winning the battle of the B finalists at the moment. He's up to 19th place. Here is 7th place down. So this is Percox, Hicks, Knight, Irvin and White all in there. Reese Pope flashes through, the number 42, scoring good points again, trying to secure his place in the top 3 in C2. Hicks and Percox working together.
The gap for Daz Teal now is 1.2 seconds to the good. Andrew, I think that sounds like the kind of gap where you can maybe hold Coppin and Healy at arm's length until the end now.
And Healy, well, if he's not seeing that gap go down to Teal, he's going to be thinking, well, I need that 2nd place then. I need as many points as I can. An extra point for making a move on Mike Coppin and getting 2nd place in this race over 3rd.
Fair play to Josh Adams, staying with Jack O'Neill out there.
Yep.
If he passes him, it will basically negate a cone penalty. for him.
Christopher Powell is your fastest driver now, as here comes Peter Knight, who has a little think about going past Steve Hicks, but Christopher Powell, 45.45. He's coming in 14th place, and he's driven well today. Penalty for Ashley White, multiple track limits. So that'll lose him 11th place. Promotes David Longman and Tom Dix up there in the order. This lap plus one more then. There is your champion-elect, Jack O'Neill, kart number 99. Even if he was to pull into the pits now, because the simple fact of the matter is Ed Bars is not being able to score enough points to take this title fight on to Bayford Meadows. Josh Adams is going to go for a move here down the inside and takes the position, takes fourth on the road. Daz Teal, though, is on to the last lap, Howard.
Yep, absolutely. What a drive it's been from Daz Teal in this A final against, I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but as I say, these top three drivers really are in a stellar form at the moment. And as I say, we're going to see, after such a drought of wins for Teal, he's looking set here to take his second one of the season.
Well, 2020 started with a round win for Daz Teal. He had to wait 18 months for another. It's now 2 in a row. Daz Teal wins in the lightweight sprints here at Lydd. And it's second place and a first podium for Mike Coppin. Dan Healy takes third. But where is your champion? There, across the line, Jack O'Neill finishes in 5th. Ed Bars finishes in 6th, and that means Jack O'Neill, for the first time, is Club 100 Lightweight Sprint Champion. He's worked on this for a good while, and finally, he can say he has got the number 1 plate for 2022. What a season, what an effort from the whole Titan Motorsports team. Here's your result then. Teal, second A final win in a row ahead of Coppin. Healy third. Josh Adams, what a drive that is from Josh Adams. Finishes 4th, has a cone penalty, so it'll still be a top 5. Jack O'Neill 5th, will be 4th after the penalty. Ed Bars in 6th, Steve Hicks 7th, Peter Knight wins in C2, finishes 8th overall. 9th, Brianna Percox, a top 10 for Alistair Irvin, 2nd place in P2. David Longman 11th, Ashley White in 12th. There is an absolutely elated Daz Teal, and he had a pretty big smile on his face back at Wilton Mill a few weeks ago. I didn't know it was possible. I reckon the smile, I can see it through the helmet. The smile is even wider now for one of the elder statesmen of the club. And today has all been about experience, I feel, Howard. And he has managed the racing very, very well and hit that purple patch. Carry on with your provisional order. This is all pre-penalties, I should say. Ashley White, 12th. Tom Dix, 13th. Christopher Powell, back after a few rounds off, finishes well inside the top 20 there in 14th. Reese Pope, 3rd in C2, 15th overall. Stephen Westwood, really good today, finishes 16th overall, 4th in C2 ahead of Garrett Berry, Dan Seeger, Greg Smith, and your winner in C3 today. That's your top 20 for Samuel Esseries. Ned Douglas was in 21st. Ramanas Sagauskas had his bright moments today, finishes 22nd in the A final. Bryn Alban is 23rd, continues to improve. George Lawler was fantastic through the heats, 24th in the A final, 2nd in C3, and then Dante Dillon's 25th with problems in the final for Rob Langthorpe, classified in 26th. But a really, really good final. Drivers I can see in pit lane just discussing it now. Congratulations to Daz Teal, and what about that 2 in a row?
Yeah.
Could he make it 3? Could he make it 3 at Bayford Meadows?
The opportunity's there, isn't it? The opportunity's there. I've got to say, really nice scenes actually. The top 3 finishing those races right now, posing for the camera, congratulating each other. Jack O'Neill as well went over to Daz Teal, and they both basically reciprocated congratulations to each other, essentially. So
and
nice
great to see
there.
Mike Coppin back on the podium.
Yeah,
it's been a
brilliant
long
stuff.
overdue for Mike Coppin.
Agreed.
And you hope now that this is the spark of something that gives him that form that he can continue at Bayford Meadows. Be an even bigger championship protagonist into 2022. This lightweights championship is still, I think, looking really, really bright for the future of Club 100. You've got a number of drivers, you know, if they want to, can come back next year and give it a real good go.
I haven't got a clue who's on for the win at Bayford. You know, Daz with the momentum, Mike, as you say, hopefully it's the start of some more momentum there. You got O'Neill wanting to close his championship out in style, albeit he's got the title. Ed Bars and Dan Healy having a little battle there over second place. Going to be a great. Make sure you join us for Bayford because this is going to be fantastic. But no, what a brilliant end to the weekend's running there.
And yes, to see you on side, you know, those top 5 trophies. If you've not seen them before, folks, they big.
Yeah,
they
they're
look
nice.
Good on a mantelpiece.
Oh yes.
And you know, if you've got a chance of being in the fight for that, you've got to give it everything at Bayford. You've still got C2 open in the heavyweights. That's going to be great. Again, there's more podium positions in C2 and lightweights to sort out as well, and C3. There's a lot to fight for and a lot to watch and get excited about as we go to Bayford Meadows in a few weeks' time.
Absolutely. That does conclude the running for today and for this weekend on Lydd. Our Halloween running, and we had some pretty Halloween-esque, suitably ghoulish weather. I like that. So thank you very much for joining us. Do please support Alpha Live, Club 100, and if you'd be so kind, ourselves at Double Dash Motorsport Media across your social medias of choice. Action coming up in the virtual world in Club 100 with the GT Sport on Tuesday night. That's over on our Double Dash Motorsport Media channel, or here if you're watching the Comms Box cam right now. Hello. And then there's the iRacing Legends of Club 100 BUKC the following week. And the week after that. The Full Metal real
14th of November.
There you go.
Next back for the final round of the season. As I say, I won't go over it again because there's plenty to watch for that one, and the racing will be pretty good.
And it will be here on Alpha Live.
And it will be here on Alpha Live for you all to enjoy. I think we're going to wrap things up there. Do make sure you subscribe. Thank you for your support as ever. My name's been Andrew Mather. He's been Howard Mitchell. Together we've been DDMM, Double Dash Motorsport Media. Thank you for watching this Club 100 stream from Alpha Live. We'll see you on the 14th of November at Bayford Meadows. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.